Hi guys, I'm posting again with a comparatively good news post. I guess mainly it's just that nothing has happened, which means nothing bad has happened yet. To let you know, I got into the new hotel. I got into the one that is going to do the visa for me. Let's hope that works out. And they're also going to provide me a room for the next 1 or 2 months. I think the lady I arranged it with the lady that owns the place, and she seems keenly aware that whereas a lot of other places have just shut down, she seems aware that she's not going to get a lot of business for a long time. Tourism is going to be down worldwide for the next year at least. So she's finding people. There's actually a lot of foreigners here, maybe all foreigners, and I guess she goes and gets visas for them or visa extensions. You have to have a visa to be here, so she's probably just getting extensions for everybody, which is basically just a stamp that she can stay, which you can get for up to 2 more months, so 3 months total that you can stay in Vietnam as a tourist, which would be a long vacation. But I may be here that long. Who knows? Other than that, there's no real update on the bigger situation, like China opening the border. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. Let's see what else. When things are going to open here. Everything here is closed. The country of Vietnam has only had about 200 cases, but they're very proactive. They've shut everything down. Today was originally supposed to be the last day that things were going to be shut down, but there seems to be a general consensus online that they're not announcing a date anymore. They're not putting a date to it, so it very well could be shut down much longer than that. I don't know. As far as food, there's one place around the corner that I can get a pretty good cafeteria style lunch, and that's good. I mean, they don't let you in; you don't get to eat in there for the cafeteria, but it's actually a pretty common little setup. It's a street side thing where they've got a little table with some warming trays, and they just put it into a to-go box and you take it and go. And I don't know that the lady is supposed to be operating because she seems to be the only one that I've found at all. But she's getting away with it, so I walk over every day and grab a little food. She's kind of behind a wall door thing. She doesn't look open, but you can tell she is. So I popped in there and got some things. I'm going to walk over here in a couple of hours and get some ramen noodles. So I'll have a ramen noodle dinner every night. The lady that owns the hotel here, she serves food every day, and the food was good, and it's reasonably priced, but I gotta be honest, I'm not on a tourist budget anymore, so I've got to try and find a local spot to get my everyday lunch. And when things open up, there's plenty of stuff around here, coffee houses and things, and I'll actually have to be careful when things do open up to make sure I don't, spend more than I can, and who knows how much I can, because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. What else? I wanted to go over, I think some people commented on, how did you get where you were? Because I shared this video with a few people who had been asking what's going on, and rather than trying to explain the entire thing in 10 text messages, I just kind of shared the videos. So I'm going to try and explain what's going on now and maybe share with a couple more people so people will know what's going on. So when the coronavirus hit China back in January is when it hit. I hung around for a while, though. I didn't leave. I waited till mid-February before I left. So it was the end of January when things started really getting bad. And I decided I was going to ride it out unless, things got really creepy. And I felt like they did after a few weeks of the coronavirus shutdown happening. At first, they just started telling people, making sure that people were not going to each other's apartment complexes, so that people were just going out basically to get groceries, because everything else had shut down. They had told all the businesses to shut down, and they were not wanting people to socialize. Basically, don't go over to other people's houses. So they put up guards posted at every apartment complex. But then after that had been going on for a week or so, they decided that you could only leave your house a certain number of times. They were once every 2 days you were allowed to leave. One member of each household. Of course, I live alone, but member of each household was allowed to leave to go get groceries, and that was the only reason anyone decided to leave. And I felt like that was a little over the top, and I also felt like at the time that this was going to, pass in China in a few weeks, and I didn't have much fear that it was going to spread beyond China, because China was keeping control of it, and I was right about that part, but not about it not spreading, because it spread anyway. But I expected it to be over in a few weeks, and I said I'm not going to be sitting here while they're telling people you can and can't go out of your home. Because I tend to like, especially if I've got time, when I've got time off, I like to go to the grocery store every day and get fresh vegetables, right? And I hate to think this was all because I wanted fresh vegetables, but I just felt like, that's a little over the top controlling. Which most Americans that I talked to were like, yeah, that was a good idea to go. And now maybe it wasn't, and maybe that was a completely reasonable rule to come up with, but that's all hindsight. So at the time I thought this is the time to go, especially since I hadn't taken a vacation for Spring Festival. I had planned to go at the end of Spring Festival, but everything was shut down by then. I was going to travel in China. I thought that was going to be, a nice little Spring Festival vacation. So I decided if everything's going to be shut down for a few weeks, I'm going to go to the beach. And I booked a ticket to Cambodia. Took off. Things were getting even worse between the couple of days that I booked it and when I left. Things were getting pretty bad. That's actually when they started the policy of stopping people going out. It all happened about the same time. Anyway, so I hopped on the plane and went to Cambodia, Sihanouk, and boy, that was terrible. That's in a terrible situation right now. It used to be a beautiful beach town in Cambodia, and they have totally ruined that. So I spent 2 weeks there in a beach area, but not really going to the beach very much because everything was under construction. The beach was nasty. Everything was bad. And finally, I left there and moved out to a couple more towns, Kep and Kampot. Just as a side note, if you ever go to the coast of Cambodia, go to Kampot. It's great. It's lovely. The food was good. It's a nice little town. It's not on the beach. It's a river town, but it's in the middle of a lot of different sites, parks, national parks, and things, and the town is nice, and it was just nice. Everything was nice. I stayed just outside of town at a what do you call them, guest house, which was super nice itself. It was about $1, I think, $1 or $2. Yeah, it was $2 to ride into town, which I found outrageous because you can get in China you can get a taxi across town for $1. But for tourist prices, I guess, $1 to get into town. Or you can walk into town. It's only like a 20-minute walk or so. Either way, you could get into town pretty easy. So that was nice. Sorry for the side note. But the travels, it does lead into what my point, which is that my travels have been pretty nice up until this end. The end. I mean, I've been gone a long time, and it was about 6 weeks at the point where I thought I was going to be going back to China, and that's a long time to be on a vacation. It was nice though; everything was nice. After I left Cambodia, I crossed over into Vietnam and spent a couple of nights in Ho Chi Minh City, another beautiful city. Of course, it's a big city, so it's more expensive, and I didn't want to stay there. So I moved from there. I moved up to a beach town called Quy Nhon, which is on the coast. It's a beach town. It's a pretty nice beach. It was a lovely little town. There's nothing special about it really. It doesn't really compare with some of the beaches in Thailand or Philippines. So you're guaranteed if you go there to not have to worry about foreign tourists. It's a place that mostly Vietnamese tourists go. And it was really nice. That now that I look back on that, I mean, I knew it was nice when I was there. It's not like I was taking it for granted. I was enjoying it the whole time. I was paying about the same price as here, and the hotel was so nice. Small. They're all, small locally run hotels, but the people were great. Everything was nice, and everything was open there. Nobody was thinking. I have read that the only places where there's a problem with things being open and the coronavirus scare being going on is here in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm in Hanoi now, by the way. So the two big cities, which is understandable. But boy, I wish I could have gotten a visa extension and just gone back to where I was at. But hindsight's 2020, of course. So what happened was I stayed in Quy Nhon for about over 2 weeks, actually, over 2 weeks. Enjoyed the hell out of it. It was great every day. The weather is beautiful there. It was tropical, sunny every day. And now I'm getting the flip side of that. All of a sudden I got a message, actually just the day before I was about to leave anyway. I got a message from a friend in China with a notice attached to it from the Chinese government that said they were about to close the borders to foreigners, but I honestly believe they had already closed them at that point because when I got to the border, I killed myself to get to the border, spent a huge amount of money trying to get there quickly. I flew from actually I had to take a cab, I should say, to a neighboring city's airport, which is about 2 hours away down at that end, and that's not cheap. And then I took the flight up to Hanoi and grabbed a cab on this end, 3 hours to the border, another not cheap cab ride, where I discovered that the border was already closed and looked like it had been for weeks. It looked like that one had closed, when this whole thing started, and it probably did. But you find that out after the fact, and it was the only way I could think of to try and get to China. So, in a sense, it was still worth a shot because now that I'm stuck here, I'm paying for hotels for the next. Luckily, my boss has helped me out. I'm paying for hotels for the next, who knows, month, 2 months, I don't know. But I should say that I tried, after I couldn't get across the border, I tried to get a flight back to the U.S., and somewhat miraculously did. I was able to book a flight back to the U.S., only to find out when the gate opened, when the check-in opened, they looked at my flight and said, "Oh, you can't take this flight." So the online, I booked it online, Trip.com, which is they're usually pretty good, but they've been really shit during this whole thing. All of a sudden, when you need these companies that are always taking your money, too inconvenient, too much trouble. We can't process refunds. Anyway, they sold me this ticket through Japan, which you can't use right now. That's the sort of thing they should be up on. They do this business, but you can't use the ticket because it was connecting. It was an airport connection, transfer between airports is what I'm trying to say. He flew into Narita and went to Haneda, and that was the connection. And in order to do that, you got to leave the airport. And they said, "Oh, you had to do a 14-day what do you call it? Lockdown. You got to spend 14 days in a hotel room." And I said, "That's stupid. I'm just trying to get on a plane to leave. I'm not going to be exposed to anyone anymore I would be exposed more getting to a hotel than I would in the van, in the shuttle bus between the airports. I mean, it's not. You don't even have to go through the subway. You just get on a shuttle bus and go directly to the other airport." I was like, "That's insane. Why would you make a rule that says that?" But nothing's making sense right now because nobody's prepared for this. And half the world, as you in America know, are run by morons. So Anyway, so that didn't work out, and I couldn't get my refund back because normally I've gotten refunds from them before from Trip.com, and it's been very quick. But they can't do it now because that would require employees, and we don't have any employees, and all these electronic online websites, app companies, they could easily send their workers home and say work from home. There's nothing about your computer at home that's different than it is here, but somehow, they can't do anything right now, so they're just keeping everybody's money. So I'm not going to get a refund for that until the end of the month. April, I mean. So anyway, that's about where I am. I hope that was a good enough explanation. I didn't want to drag it out. That was 15 minutes already, so hopefully that wasn't drag out too much. But that's where I'm at. So I'm now... I didn't get my flight back to the U.S., and when I call my boss, he's like, well, you really shouldn't go back to the U.S. anyway. And I'm like, well, no shit, I'd rather not go back there. Things are not so good there right now. Vietnam, despite being on a total lockdown, has only had 200 cases of this stuff. So things are pretty good here, as long as the foreigner hate doesn't get turned up any higher. Yeah, that will be good. And I don't see how they need to go much longer without opening back up. China's opened back up, and they still have plenty of cases, but everybody's just under quarantine, and the quarantine has gone long enough that that it's not floating around the cities anymore. They're not seeing cases spike again. Restaurants and things are opened up. So maybe things will open up here soon. I mean, I hate to say it, but this will be great if things can open up here. And I'm perfectly happy to work from here. My boss is saying he'll get me some classes. I hasn't done it yet, but he's saying he'll get me some classes and I can work from here. That would be great. That sounds good to me. So I hope that's what happens. But I'm just keeping everybody updated. I'm in a nice little hotel in the old quarter. Like I said, surrounded by businesses. When they start opening up, I'll have plenty of places to eat. And I need to take care of anything that I need. Really, I've got everything I need now because Circle K is open. And what do you need besides a Circle K? Yep, and there's a park nearby, so I can walk. I can do my daily walks at the park. So I'm crossing fingers. I hope people in the U.S. start taking this seriously. It seems like there's been a step up in that, taking seriously the quarantines, self-quarantines. It seems like a lot of things are shutting down now, from what I hear. So I'm hoping that's true. That's the update, I guess. It was a little longer today than I wanted it to be. I'm not completely sure if everything stays calm and normal that I'll continue to do daily updates. So, and I'll try and do more from outside. I kind of just wanted you guys to see the room. In fact, I may just move the camera here. Normal room, very nice. The only abnormal thing is the window here, which, as you can see, leads directly into a stairwell. I think the building, this used to be the front of the building right here at this room with this window, but then there's lots of space between here and the street, and as land values go up, they want to add to the building, and they just went out into the front. So there's a stairwell here with another set of rooms in front of it, and that would be nice rooms because those actually face the street. And get nice little balconies. My room in Queen Nun had a balcony. That was great. I have to put some of those shots online. I'm going to put together an episode of just, my travels, showing some of the shots, because I've been getting shots everywhere I go. I just haven't put them together yet. All right. Thanks for watching. I guess if I didn't cover anything, put the questions into the comment section. I may have forgotten something. It's been a hectic 6 weeks now. 6 weeks. So 6 weeks and counting. Yeah, so that's the update. I hope the sound did okay on this because I've been having some problems. Let me know if there are any. And I'll update again later, but like I said, I may reduce the number of updates because once everything settles down, I don't really need to let people know every second what's going on. All right, check in with you guys later. Good luck to you guys. I know things are not easy in the United States now either.